Welcome to Haphazard Homestead. You know what's on this counter? Yep, my lunch. There's not a thing here that I could buy to eat at the average grocery store, but I got it all for free just by wandering around. If you watch this video, I think by the end of it, you might think differently about some of the plants around you, whether they are trees that you know, flowers in your garden, or just weeds. You might end up thinking that you want this sort of lunch too. I'm going to start by showing what's in my salad as I put it together and give you a taste review. Then I'm going to head out to look at the plants out where they're growing and collect enough to make an even bigger salad for some friends. So in this video, you're going to get 2 salads for the price of 1. And what's that price? 0. So as this video goes on, if you think you're getting your money's worth, hit that like button, or even better yet, if you want to see more videos about wild foods, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Alright, let's go see what's in my salad. Number 1. Tender young seeds from an American elm tree. Those are so nice and sweet. All on their own, they're nice and sweet. Number 2. Young leaves from another tree, the river birch. They taste more astringent with tannins that get stronger as the leaves get older. Number 3. Young leaves from that same American elm tree where I got the seeds. Number 4. Tender young needles from a western larch. So citrusy. That is so good. Number 5. Tender young needles of the Deodar Cedar. This has more of a resin flavor. More citrus, but more resin. Number 6. Redbud flowers with their slightly sour, perky taste. Number 7. Apple blossoms that taste like a mild apple. Number 8. English daisy flowers, also called lawn daisies. Number 9. Violet leaves. Number 10. A wild mustard. This one is the yellow rocket. This is going to be wasabi hot. Wasabi hot. Number 11. Dandelion petals. They're mild. Number 12. Tulip petals. You got to make sure to get their pollen off and get their anther out. It's only the petal, nothing else, just the petal. Number 13. Flowers from a bigleaf maple tree, although any maple flowers are good. You can see their little maple seeds starting to form there. Number 14. Lilac flowers. They can be a little bitter, but the right lilacs can be very floral and flowery too. Number 15. Tender young leaves from a hawthorn tree. That's just a pleasant, mild flavor. Very pleasant. Number 16. Young leaves from Nipplewort. It's an invasive weed here. Number 17. Leaves from the common Sowthistle. Number 18. Fresh Spearmint. This may be one of the few greens that you could actually get at your local grocery store. Number 19. Young leaves from lemon balm. Number 20. Monster dandelion greens. You know I like these. They grow big here at Haphazard Homestead in the tall grass. There is one more plant that I put in my salad. It will show up in a minute. But as I'm putting my salad together, I'm going to answer some questions about making a great tasting wild salad. The first question is, how do I decide how much of each kind of plant to include? Number 21, there's 21, Broadleaf Dock. It's tempting to try to compose a salad to get all the flavors just right. It really doesn't make a difference. As long as there's a good variety of different tasting plants and the salad isn't dominated by 1 or 2 strong flavored plants, it's going to be delicious. In this salad, I end up including all the plants that were on the counter. So why do I have all my plants separated then if I just mix them all together? Because it makes it easier to do quality control and make sure that I don't have any plants that I don't want to eat or plant parts that aren't good quality. How do I prepare the salad? In a salad with so many different kinds of plants, it's easier to wash the whole kit and caboodle after they're all mixed together. I chop the plants into little pieces to mix the flavors. I use a simple dressing, just a simple vinaigrette. And then the most important question, how does this sort of salad taste? My salad is ready to eat, so let's find out. I'm gonna add a little beer to that. Add another cracker. Holy smokes, that was as delicious a salad as I will ever eat. That was incredibly good. You can tell, I licked my bowl of that. That was so good. Holy smokes, I could have eaten 3 times that much. That's delicious. You may be saying, hey, how long does it take to collect all this stuff? I timed myself a couple days later when I went picking to make a salad for some friends. I only had about 30 minutes to do all the picking with some help from Klutzy Gardener. That's less time than I would have spent going to the grocery store and coming back home. The mix of plants is a little bit different because I had to pick quickly. Let's head out and see these plants out where they are growing. Here's a dense stand of young Nipplewort. At this stage of their growth, the leaves are pretty bland, and that makes a nice base for a salad. Here's a tip that Klutzy Gardener hasn't learned yet. It's a lot more efficient to pull the whole Nipplewort plant and strip off the leaves of this invasive weed. Here's a little patch of yellow dock. You've seen me pick and eat a lot of dock here at Haphazard Homestead. The tender leaves are great in a salad. I think the yellow dock, also called curly dock, has more of a lemon flavor than the broadleaf dock. Here's some lemon balm. It's a garden herb in the mint family, and like so many other mints, it escapes and shows up growing wild on its own in a wide variety of places. Pinch the tops out, and the plant just gets bushier. You can come back to the same spot and pick over and over again. Here's a classic spring green, violet leaf. These are done flowering already. They have a mild flavor that's great for the base of a salad. There's some Nipplewort mixed in here. Can you tell the difference? Because violets are a perennial, it's best to selectively pick only the leaves and not the whole plant unless you want to thin out a patch. Here's another mint that escapes from gardens and grows as a weed in surprising places. Spearmint. It can even compete in thick, tall grass. I think every lawn would be improved if it had spearmint mixed in it. Here's a great salad green, the dandelion. The biggest, most lush leaves are from plants growing in the shade or tall grass. They will have the mildest flavor that is really good in a salad. Now the dandelion petals are going to be easier to find on the plants out in the full sun. Their greens wouldn't be worth picking for a salad. They would be too small and too bitter, but the flower petals are great and easier to pick. English daisies are small. The flowers and the leaves taste different from each other, and both are really good. I only had a 30-minute time limit to pick, so it was faster to just focus on picking the flowers. But those leaves are really good too. Very worthwhile to put in a salad. I didn't have time to go down to the river where I get my spicy yellow rocket mustard. But these flowers from the wild field mustard are great in a salad too. They are much more mild, not at all wasabi hot like the yellow rocket. Here's the lilac all in bloom. Some lilacs are really terrible, and some are really good. The only way to know is to try them out. If the flowers are good one year, they'll be good the other years too. I have some good tasting ones here at Haphazard Homestead, and I have some terrible tasting ones too. The same goes for tulips. Each variety tastes different, and some are much better than others. These ones with the purple fringe have a spicy flavor like cloves. Really good. I never worry about picking too many apple blossoms. It's not going to hurt the tree or fruit production to have a few in a salad. Like tulips, the only thing I'm picking are the petals, not the other parts of the flowers. Only the petals. On the redbud tree, the whole flower is good. Like the apple tree, it doesn't hurt the redbud to pick some of the flowers. Here's a tip. I think it's a lot easier to prune off a piece of a branch and strip all the flowers off, and that doesn't hurt the tree either. Here's the flower cluster from the Bigleaf Maple, our common native maple tree in the Pacific Northwest that's a close relative of the sugar maple. The flowers of any of the maple trees are good. The giant clusters of the bigleaf maple are easy to pick, and I can chop them up and eat the whole cluster. I don't have to strip off the individual little flowers. The leaves are edible too, but these have gotten too big and don't taste good anymore. On the other hand, these leaves from a red Norway maple are just right and really pleasant. Their flowers are tasty too. The seeds were too tough and full of tannin to bother with. In contrast, the leaves of the American elm tree are good when they're tiny new growth, and even the large new growth later in the spring is good as long as the leaves are still thin and tender. The seeds of the American elm tree are wonderful. When they are green and tender, they are so sweet and tasty, really perfect for using a lot of them in a salad. This is the young growth of a river birch tree. I don't think they are as sweet tasting as other birch trees. They are more astringent with more tannin, but when all the growth is young like this, they are worth including in a salad. It doesn't hurt trees to lose some of their leaves in the early spring at all. Here's a hawthorn tree. What species? Who knows? There are hundreds of species and they interbreed constantly. Some have better tasting leaves than others, but I have found almost all of them to be delicious for a salad as long as the leaves are tender, even later in the spring. Here in the Pacific Northwest, hawthorn trees are invasive, so there's no need to hold back from picking a lot. I am so happy to have a western larch here at Haphazard Homestead. It's related to the eastern larch or tamarack, and like them, it's one of the few conifers that loses all its needles in the fall. The new spring growth is so delicate and tender with a delicate citrus flavor that is really great. I use a lot of this in salads in the spring while the needles are young. I had to go down the street to get the tender needles from the new growth of a Deodar Cedar, but they're worth it, I think. They're more substantial and have a stronger resin flavor that's great in a salad. Once you get to like that resin flavor, there is no place to get it except from some of the conifers. The Deodar Cedar is a true cedar native to the Himalayan mountains. You can see the Deodar Cedar has tufts of needles like my western larch, not at all like the scaly red or white cedars native to North America, which are not really cedars at all. I'm using the Deodar Cedar. Now you probably don't want to see me make a whole other salad, but you may be asking, hey, are you just picking and eating everything that's growing out there? The answer is no. I learn which plants and plant parts are good to eat in springtime salads. And I have access to plants that are in good, uncontaminated soils and that haven't been sprayed. There are definitely plants out there that nobody should be eating. I've gotten to know all these tasty plants really well, and there's a lot more great wild plants to eat out there. I hope this inspires you to get to know more about the plants around you too. Wild plants can be real food for regular people. Most of them you can't buy at a store at any price, but you can pick all you want for free. I hope things are going well at your place. I hope you enjoyed this video. I appreciate you watching it all the way through, and I appreciate your comments. If you haven't subscribed already, I'd appreciate that too. Thanks for watching. Bye.